Welcome back, the For Your Best Self podcast. It's great to be back in the studio. Happy 2024. I'm so excited to be back, and specifically about this episode. I am by no means a diet nutrition expert, but I'm super curious, and it comes up all the time, every day, all day in our plastic surgery aesthetic practice. So I'm over the moon excited to be joined by Betsy Markle.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Founder of Sunshine Wellness. She is a registered dietitian and nutritionist with over 20 years of experience. It's nice to read and listen, but it's even better to have in-house, in your community resource, something tangible, someone you can call. Short story, I was introduced to Betsy 7 years ago at an Everything Brevard women's retreat, Unwrap the Best You, and I was just blown away by her speaking on stage. I mean, a lot of awesome information, and I could just tell by the audience they were all ears. So today we're going to kind of unwrap some myths. I think it's really the essentials of what you should know about different trends in diet, weight loss, and nutrition. Betsy's expertise is really root cause, which I'm passionate about, not Band-Aids with drugs or fads. It's really healing the metabolism through nutrition, through habits, through wellness, really a commitment to a lifestyle. And that's what has sustainability, really. So welcome. Betsy has a unique background with working with a world-renowned endocrinologist in Santa Barbara. Over the past 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time,
Yeah.
and it's been a great experience.
Yeah.
It's just such a different way of looking at nutrition.
And we're lucky that you've brought some of that experience to Brevard. Also, fun fact, Betsy is a working mom of 3. So we love that. She's busy and she's walking the walk, talking the talk. So
You too.
welcome.
I know. I feel like that's why we connect well. I'm like, we just both are passionate about our family and our work, and it's busy.
Yeah.
But we love it, but we also really make time for ourselves, which is so important.
It's a big part of the secret, you know, to be able to take care of people.
Amen.
I think, you know, so much of what we do is focused on anti-aging from the outside in, skincare, surgery, what we put on our face, what we, you know, what treatments we have. I really want to put a bigger lens on that process from the inside out. So,
well, kudos to you for really talking that and wanting to know more and sharing that with all your patients. I think that's rare, and it's a beautiful thing. So thank you definitely for having me. And
Awesome.
I'm excited. I love to talk about all this, obviously. And, you know, healing yourself from the inside out is just such a big topic. So the way I feel like I have to dumb things down a lot for myself, which works for a lot of people as well. When I worked with Dr. Schwartzbein, she was genius, and I feel like she just talked on such a high level. So I just feel like my way is way different, and it has to just be where it becomes common sense. So my common sense approach to this is to heal the metabolism first. I feel like so many people want to put Band-Aids on their health, and that obviously does not solve it. So how do we do this? We do have to get to the root, and you always have to heal the metabolism first, or at least revive it, optimize it. And that, just to kind of share, the metabolism is just so complicated. You know, so many people think it's just calories in equals calories out. But that equation doesn't work when you have a damaged metabolism.
Meaning I can out-exercise anything I eat, and not possible.
Exactly. Or just, you know, not, you know, just continue to slim down how much you eat. So when that equation is broken, it just proves that the metabolism is so much more than just energy expenditure. So it has to be deeper. And so I just think of the engine, or the metabolism, more of an engine. You know, it controls everything, just like in a car. And all the different pieces of that engine are going to be all our body systems. So digestion is a huge part of it. So many people have digestion that's off. You know, maybe it's they have reflux, or they just feel bloated all the time, or their bowels aren't normal, you know? So that's definitely a sign of a damaged metabolism. People that cannot lose weight anymore. They used to be able to lose weight and they can't lose weight anymore. To me, that's a sign. Hormones. Obviously, I've worked with an endocrinologist for so long. So our society is filled with stress. You know,
Absolutely.
we're just so busy these days. And if we don't have any life balance, those stress hormones are just activated all the time. And those big stress hormones throw off all the hormones.
Wow.
Especially the sex hormones. So for so many people, it's in their thyroid. So it's like all the hormone system is so complicated. And if that's off, your metabolism is going to become more and more damaged. Our nervous system is a big one. And again, it comes back to the stress hormones, which is just such a big deal. Our liver, you know, is like, are we toxic? Do we eat just tons of crappy food and not take care of ourselves and our liver, or we're on a lot of medications, or we drink too much alcohol, or we just, you know, have a whole...
That filter's bogged down doing other things.
Yeah, so there's just so many pieces of the puzzle that if I were just to simplify, just everyone, please make sure that you heal your metabolism first. Focus on that, which is more about nurturing your body and less about this all or nothing approach that our society tends to talk.
No carbs, no this, no that.
Oh, I know. And if I were to add one more point, just the way that my business, Sunshine Wellness, we help our clients with a program to heal their metabolism. And if I were just to say in two simple ways, the best ways I can do that clinically are I help our clients to calm down the stress response in their body.
Incredible.
So whether that might be that they're always skipping meals and that their body's like amped up because of it, or they don't get enough sleep, or they're not getting enough fuel in their body because they exercise and they're just having this low level. Like, there's so many different ways, but stress hormones is a big piece of that. And then the other big piece is to stabilize the blood sugar.
Yes.
So if their blood sugar's all over the place all day, you know, it just causes the cravings, the moodiness, the energy like dump at 3 where they need that pick me up again, you know. It throws everything off. So if I can really get people to stabilize their blood sugar and their stress hormones, the metabolism naturally heals.
So stabilizing the stress hormones tends to be more of lifestyle choices, or kind of more the mental side? Or is it more
everything.
Nutrition?
I think, you know, people hear the word stress and they think more of like family stress or money stress, or like, you know, yes, so much of it is in the brain. So mindset to me is so huge. I really work and help our clients to change their mindset. So if they have negative thoughts all the time, they worry all the time, they're perfectionist, everything has to be right, or they're just going to quit it, like those are root issues. Right. So we do, with our program, we address mindset on the daily, like nonstop. But there are a lot of lifestyle habits that affect our stress hormones. So to, again, dumb it down, make it like simple for all of us, it's more about, you know, just how does something make you feel? Like if I were to do a CrossFit or a body pump class and it's really hard, and by the way, I love it, like, so it's good, but let's just say I didn't fuel right afterwards, or I didn't eat before and then I didn't even eat much afterwards, and I am like in the dumps later on, like, you know, I feel so good, I just did this class, I'm amazing, and then like an hour or two later, like you want to take a nap and like you can barely get through work, and you like are like just chowing later, like, you know, your body's in a stress state, it's not, you know, doing well. When like I just did a yoga class yesterday and I was taking all these deep breaths, I ate before, I ate after, like, and I was just like feeling, I was driving in this like meditative state where I was like, I feel so calm but energized, and I like had this great work day, and I was like, that's nurturing the body.
That's amazing. We all want that feeling.
I know, it's that calm energy, like, because everyone's kind of, I call it wired but tired. You know, where we're on, you can feel the stress hormones activated, and then people don't get good sleep, even though they might be like, I'm gonna crash, and then their sleep's like up and down all night because they're having like a rebound effect later on. But so many of our nutrition habits affect our stress hormones, our exercise habits do.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many little pieces that I can totally dive into if you want.
To me, like could we talk about that in context of glucose? Because I think that is one of the biggest triggers. And again, it's not never have sugar. It's really kind of when and how, like kind of being aware of the timing.
Yeah.
To me, it's like timing and quantity, but timing is almost
You're so smart.
I'm just curious.
Yes. Meal timing is huge for me. Like routines are huge for me. The body wants your lifestyle to be predictable. Like it wants to be calm and be like, you got this under control.
Yeah, you got my back. You're going to feed me.
Yeah. And not this like, why don't I shock you today?
Yeah.
We're going to fast today.
Yeah.
You know, and make it like really tough. And I'm not bashing anything. There's a time and place for things. But when it comes down to it, the general gist of how to be healing for the metabolism is to have that steady blood sugar and not activate the stress hormones. So if you were to say, okay, the circadian rhythm of our day is going to be where you wake up with energy and then you like go through the day and then you have this flat line at night where you're sleeping, like that's how it wants to be. And the timing of your meals goes in total connection with that. So even when I've done testing with Dr. Schwartzbein, where we would test people's adrenals through the day, they would have to document like when they eat, when they exercise, did they skip a meal, how was their sleep, because your adrenals change every day, your stress hormones with your blood sugar, and they change with your daily habits. So I'm just a big advocate for nourishing yourself in a way that has a very steady blood sugar. So, I mean, we could kind of dive into like in the morning, like breakfast. Like if you were to say, oh, I woke up and the thing that gets me out of bed is my coffee.
Yes.
Okay. Not bashing coffee,
This
but
is my number one habit.
Well, there we go. Okay. And I know a lot of people can relate. So if a healthy metabolism should wake up and say, I'm thirsty, I haven't drank water in a while, and I'm hungry. I've been fasting for 12 plus hours. Okay. So then
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Unless you're midnight snacking.
Yeah. Yeah. For those, yes, maybe. And in that case, you're not going to be hungry and you're starting your flow later in the day, which your body, it means you're not optimizing your metabolism in the very beginning.
Yes.
So pretending that you went to sleep, and did not wake up and eat or anything crazy, you should wake up hungry and thirsty. And so that's a healthy metabolism. So already if your metabolism says, I just want coffee, and you have the coffee on an empty belly, coffee's dehydrating. So now you're kind of -1 in the water department.
Yes.
So you're starting out kind of stressing the body out with that. And then if you have coffee is an appetite suppressant. So it's now you're I kind of don't need to eat for the next hour or 2 or 3. Right. So now you're not fueling your metabolism in the morning. So then it kind of shifts where you're okay, my day kind of started food-wise. My day started in the morning at 7 a.m., but food-wise, it started closer to 10. And then you'll just see all of your food shifting later in the day. Where it's
this is my life.
Yes. Okay, we're figuring it out for you.
Therapy.
You're so cute. So many people tell me, they're I have so many cravings after dinner, or I'm eating kind of nonstop while I'm making dinner. And then they're I think I'm eating 3/4 of my food in the second half of my day. And I'm oh yeah, your metabolism started too late. So we need to spark it up. So an answer for you would just be, okay, wake up and automatically, hard rule, have to have water. Okay, drink that glass of water and start to hydrate. Yes, that's the easy one for people. The other one is just, I don't ever want people to change by me telling them what to do. I want them to feel it. Yes, you got to want to do it. So I would do an experiment with you and just say for 1 week, I dare you to have breakfast, and it could just be literally half of a breakfast, like 2 bites of a healthier bar or something
Mhm.
like that. Like something where it's not like a big commitment because
Mhm.
you're not used to eating much, but say you could have that with your coffee.
Mhm.
And then that way you would eat that maybe closer to 7 to 8, you
Mhm.
know, within an hour waking is my guess that you'll have your mini snack, a balanced mini
Mhm.
snack with your coffee. And just that alone, you're going to start to notice you'll eat then a few hours later. And like, because just that coffee is not going to absorb so fast in your
Right.
system. It'll give it something. And like, I just to like collagen's so popular where people like
Mhm.
they bulletproof their coffee,
Mhm.
but there's no carbs in it. So
Okay.
everyone's scared of carbs.
Right.
So they might have that coffee with some extra fat in there, maybe some protein,
Mhm.
but they're still not getting that quick fuel. Like
Mhm.
we need carbs in order
Mhm.
to fuel and get that metabolism started.
Mhm.
So I don't want people to be scared of the carbs as well.
Is there truth to, I mean, we all say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's true-ish. But then I kind of read more about like it really should be savory, like more fat, protein based is helpful. I mean,
Yeah.
balanced, but
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be a donut, shouldn't be a muffin.
Yeah.
It should be, like you said, bar. But you have a scorecard on bars, and that's protein, fat, low sugar.
Yeah.
So it's really
More quality carbs,
yeah.
not artificial ingredients, the
Right.
better sources of protein
Right.
that aren't inflammatory. But yeah, I'd agree. I would say breakfast is one of the most important ones because it's going to jumpstart.
Like one of the 3 most important.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. They all are. So the deal is though, okay, just think of it. Like if we don't want to stress the body and we want a steady blood sugar, if you have breakfast, okay, and we want to, I'm just like, redirect me. Where were we there?
The timing of like glucose in the morning, just the importance of like savory, having that first meal kind of being more protein.
Yes.
Fat.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I got sidetracked just for a sec. Okay. So we want to definitely make sure that breakfast is more savory. I love that idea because we don't want to have a lot of the sugar. We don't want the carbs to absorb super fast. Perfect. And then have that low in blood sugar. So we want to have a steady blood sugar all day long. I think of it as like a drip system where I teach my clients how to balance each meal, each snack, and eat in a way that it's the right quality of carbs, the right quantity of carbs to fuel their metabolism and what their needs are. And then if you have the protein, which we need the protein, obviously, it slows down the absorption of the carbs and keeps you fueled longer and gives you that energy. But then we also like having healthy fat in there is really good. Having a lot of fiber in there because it's more wholesome foods and vegetables. So now it's like that blood sugar goes up, and instead of going up like this because you just had an apple or a donut or something and going down, it's going to like hold over longer. And it'll hold over usually for like a 3 to 4 hour mark. And so if we can eat before it dips and have that meal again and just a snack meal and have that steady blood sugar all day long, oh my gosh, everyone's like, I don't have cravings.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I have energy all day. Like I'm so much clearer in the brain. And it happens like that. Like literally in a day, they will notice the difference. So it's very helpful. And then I also like to think about like when is all your action in your day? Like everyone like eats a bigger dinner, but then the action after dinner is like, let me finally chill and get to watch TV. We don't need as much of our fuel there. We have to be way more cautious about our fuel, like when we are working, when our brain is on overload constantly, and when we exercise. Like a lot of people exercise in the morning, but they're skipping their meal in the morning, and then they're eating all this food later in the day.
Yeah.
And they're like, why can't I lose weight? Why is my body still in this stress state? Why is my sleep off, you know?
Or we work through lunch and just kind of push.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, everyone seems to be, I mean, just everyone that obviously comes to me definitely has that unstable blood sugar, and then their stress hormones are activated, and they can't figure out
why they feel
can't
the way
lose
they
weight,
do.
you know, and why they feel that wired but tired feeling all day.
Yeah. I think the beautiful thing is like once you've kind of decoded that, really the feeling is the reward. The weight loss is like a plus, but it's really like you feel so good. It just kind of it starts to make sense.
I've always said that is my drug of
Yeah.
choice. You know, I definitely like a cocktail here and
Yeah.
there, and some, but it's definitely it's addictive once
Yeah.
you feel this way
Yeah.
and you're in control of it and
Yeah.
you know how to control
Yeah.
it. And it's when
Just the awareness. Yeah.
it's beautiful. And when for our 3-month coaching program, when people work with us, in the beginning, they fill out a questionnaire. And
Mhm.
yes, they fill out, if they want to, how much they weigh. They do some measurements. But when it comes down to it, I want to know where their energy is at in the beginning. I want to know how stressed they feel in their body. Like, where's their GI tract and their bowels and all that kind of stuff. Like their skin health. Do they have headaches? Do they have like a lot of pain in their body?
Mhm.
And so we monitor this beginning, middle, and end.
Mm.
And people usually say just after 2 weeks that so much of it is better.
Yeah.
And by the end, it's sometimes like 80-90%, like fully, like they were at a level 10 for like
Yeah.
all these different things, and now they're at a 0, like, or 1,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
It's interesting to hear you mention the pain and skin. It's like all that is so tied to nutrition and what we're putting in, inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And I just read your article on intermittent fasting, and just like that timing, I think is a nice segue to just touch on that, because if you read a sales pitch for intermittent fasting, you're like, yes, I want all those benefits.
Yeah.
But in your article, you kind of highlight that a lot of the studies were done in men.
Yes.
And then they almost have the opposite effect in women. So here we are, I think with any success story, like, people talk about the successes and not the failure, because, oh, that didn't work, I don't want to talk about it. But
yes, we get all the failures, the people who really struggled with it. And
yeah,
so we see it all the time. The people who tried intermittent fasting
mm-hmm.
and tried keto and ended up just feeling horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And for women, it's just our bodies we're way more complicated than men. We just have a very complicated endocrine system where we have babies and we go through menopause, and our hormones are so complicated that we're not used in studies for these. So
it's too variable.
We fluctuate too much, and it would cost way more for the studies, and they wouldn't get the results that they want. So for men, they can have beautiful effects because their stress hormones don't activate like ours do, because their other hormones are just so much more even keel. So it might take a man like 20 to 50 years to maybe never to really see the stress hormones activate like women do. Like, I see like teenagers that are, where I can tell their stress hormones are in the bucket, and so women, it happens pretty fast. Everyone's different of when they truly get damaged. And when I worked and lived in California, we saw a lot of celebrities that, like, they pushed themselves so much that they were flatlined with their cortisol.
Wow.
Which is like almost impossible. Like, they were bedridden, So there comes to a point where you won't make as much. You won't make as much until you can't barely get out of bed. So it can be to that extent if you keep pushing and pushing. And for women, it can happen so much faster. So since we're so complicated, all the studies are going to be skewed, and our results tend to be that, we might see results for a week or 2 or maybe a month, and it's going to be different for every woman. But in the end, it damages the metabolism. It activates the stress hormones. And I want to bring it back to common sense.
Yes.
Like, it's like, obviously, if you're skipping meals and you have an unstable blood sugar and your body's saying, why, this isn't predictable, you're scaring me, your body's stressed. It's going to age you. It's going to damage the metabolism. Like, why aren't you giving me carbs? Like, the protein, and the fats take 2 to 3 hours to digest. So I'm just waiting, and I'm like getting antsy, and I'm now starting to get cravings, and I'm getting tired at times. I'm amped here, I'm tired there. Like, those are like common sense to me, that it's not healing your metabolism. That is damaging your metabolism.
With all the hype on fasting, is there ever a role? Is there ever, should we just erase the idea for women?
I know, for women. It's so funny because my husband just came home from work the other day. He's like, I've been fasting all day.
I feel amazing.
And he's like, I feel amazing. Yes. And I'm like,
I bet you do.
good for you. And I'm like, I'm going to try not to judge and even say anything. It's cool for you to experiment with this, honey, but we can't as women. I'd say on the daily, it's a no, a hard no. I love how you're crying.
Tears of joy. Yeah, because you're happy tears.
If someone were to experiment with it and they have really good adrenals and they experiment with like a 1 day and it's like every like quarter, every year, I don't know what I feel about it. I don't think I'm so anti as like a random experiment here and there, but not continually.
Yeah.
Continually, we need to have that circadian rhythm.
Fasting is not a detox. I think a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
Like I'm just.
Yeah. I don't love it.
Good. No, that's good information because you do hear of all these successes and it's like that allure of like, oh, I want to try that or maybe that'll work for me.
Yeah.
And then you just.
I know. And it's a really tough world out there. And it's just, it's who I decided I want to work with. Like, I just don't want to work with anyone who wants that quick fix and is just in this stage of limbo of like damaging themselves on purpose. They just want the quick fix. And that's fine where people are in their life. But when it comes down to it, I love what I do of helping motivated women to heal their metabolism so they can be in charge of this chapter of their life.
I like that.
Have confidence, like know how their body works, like so that they can live the life that they want. Yeah,
that kind of makes me think. I know Ozempic, the semaglutide class of drugs, is so hot right now.
I know it's
so hot. It's a tool.
Yeah.
But to me, it's almost becoming like another dependency. Like, well, what am I without this? Or I can't do it without this. Like, we don't know the end point. And yes, it's given people a lot of success, but not without potential side effects. And it's coming up more in surgery because we specifically have to hold that medication for a minimum of 2 weeks because it is slowing digestion. So if you go under general anesthesia, you're at higher risk for aspiration, potentially the GI contents going into your airways when you're induced for general anesthesia. So it is a topic that we have to talk about every day with every patient to see if they're on it or not. And also with plastic surgery, this really should be refinement. We don't want to catch you at your high. We don't want to catch you at your low. We really want to catch you at a maintainable, stable state. So it is important. And
I mean, I just wrote an article about it because I have to educate myself about it.
True.
And I did so deep dives with it. Even just pronouncing it properly is like hard enough, It's just like after I wrote the article, I had people saying like, it's everywhere. Like, how do I stay away from it? It's just, it's offered like candy out there. It does scare me. I mean, yes, I want to like recognize that I do think it saves lives and it's been around longer for diabetes, but for weight loss, it's been around for like a year. Like there's no long-term like studies on it. That scares me and that so many people are on it. With the side effects, obviously more related to the GI. I'm scared it might wreck the GI, which is such a big part of the metabolism. Right. So if anyone does have GI issues, number one, you are not making that hormone that the medication is mimicking. So like already, like you go on the medication, you're going to have exacerbated GI symptoms. You go off of it, you're going to just gain the weight right back and your GI is going to be worse and you're not going to be making more.
You're behind.
That medication, that hormone, the GLP-1 is going to now like not be made much, and you're going to be more in the bucket for it, which will make the weight loss journey harder, damaging the metabolism more. So it does, it definitely scares me because like everything that we talked about today about how to heal the metabolism, it all correlates to improving that hormone, which will help with your insulin, with your like making the insulin and having a steadier blood sugar and curbing the cravings naturally, and feeling like more content in your body. So I always love the natural way. If people feel they need to do it, do it with
understanding,
know all the possible side effects, and do the behavior modifications that we're talking about today. Like the studies are showing that you have to do it with the behavior modifications to get true results and to keep it off.
Right. I think I loved your words, like healing your metabolism makes you feel calm and in control. And like those are two of the best places to be versus I need this thing. I can't do it without this thing.
I know. I love it too. It's like my favorite. When I teach yoga, I'm like, it's one of my things at the end of class. I'm like, I always say, you want to feel like, just notice how you're feeling right now after like our shavasana. And it's always kind of just this zen feeling. And it's like, if you describe it, it's like your body's kind of buzzing with energy. You're alert, but you're calm at the same time. Yeah. And like, it's one of my favorite feelings.
Yes. So a little bit out of body where you're just like laser focused, but calm. Yeah. I want to look through our list. We covered mentioned keto, but we didn't really debunk keto, and I think that is
I didn't touch much about carbs too. Yeah, because it's a big one too, and I
feel like it's something a lot of people have tried or experimented with. Plus minus results.
Yeah. I mean, let's just do it realistically and kind of go through a day, you know? So some people might say, okay, like maybe I skipped breakfast, or maybe I had eggs with some veggies in it, you know, and maybe I exercised and then
sounds okay.
Yeah. Sounds okay. And then I had a lunch or a salad with chicken for my lunch. Another like quality choice, as in quality ingredients.
Right.
They might skip a snack, or maybe they have some nuts or something to munch on, and then they have dinner with more like protein and veggies. And that sounds like a quality day, but like when you're intentionally skipping the carbs throughout the day, there was not that much carbs through the day, they're going to start to feel sooner or later. Everyone's different, depending on where their metabolism is, but they're going to start to feel cravings. Okay, the cravings will kick in usually at the end of the day. Maybe it's like a little sweet after each meal. They're going to feel the energy highs and lows through the day. They might get a little grouchy. So it's like those are signs and symptoms that the metabolism is starting to say, I'm getting a little stressed. Blood sugar is not stable. Okay. So it's like you sooner or later you will damage the metabolism. So let's reverse back to the meal. Like that kind of way of eating is not creating the steady blood sugar. Okay. So when you have protein and fat by itself, you're kind of you're saying, okay, like take a little while to digest this and to create fuel. Yes. So now your body's like on a low for a little while with the blood sugar. And then you're just like, okay, I'm ready to eat. And then you could put it on another low for a while because you're saying work extra hard, you know? And when we're talking about nurturing the metabolism back to life, and we nurture it with fuel. So I want to fuel you with like a steady blood sugar all day long. So if we get quality carbs at your breakfast with it, so even like, let's just say like oatmeal, it's not too savory, you know, but if I have like my oatmeal recipe, maybe it would be like steel cut or overnight oats, and I would add lots of protein to it. So I might add in there chia seeds and some like nuts and seeds in it. And then I might also add in like some protein or some collagen to it.
That is my husband's breakfast, who's
Good job.
Super religious, super calm.
Yeah, there you go.
And doesn't gain weight.
Yeah, so I like it. So if we balance that breakfast, you're going to notice yourself hold yourself over better to like this place where you're like, I have all this energy for like 3-4 hours and I'm starting to feel a hair of a dip. And that's when you have like another meal or snack. So then that salad with the protein, the chicken, it's good, but it's not giving you fuel, like immediate fuel, which your body's saying, I want fuel. It's that 3-hour mark. I'm getting a little low blood sugar. I need the fuel. So if we just added something like chickpeas to that salad or some leftover quinoa and you just throw that into the salad, you know?
Balanced.
Balanced.
It's so simple. Why do we make it so complicated? I think that's on your website. Stop making it complicated.
Yes. And in my program, I'm like, I love it. We have a beautiful like meal planning system So it's not like, I don't want it to be like, you have to follow a strict like meals. It has to be this meal, this meal, this.
It's not
And like
calorie
7 days,
counting.
like, no calorie counting.
It's really like a feeling.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more intuitive eating. Obviously, I will like portion things out for
Mhm.
where people are with their metabolism
Mhm.
and where their goals are and their needs and their activity level.
Mhm.
But we give more of a staple plan, because you
Mhm.
know how like so many people, they just go to the store and they're like, well, I always need this, this, and this. I
Mhm.
just want to create like a staple menu plan
Mhm.
that's real for
Like a
someone.
base.
Yeah, that makes them feel good.
Yeah.
And that gives them energy and that fuels their metabolism. And then there's gonna be lots of gaps, because that's just usually like a few key meals and snacks.
Mhm.
And then we give like a recipe book with it that they can put in and out of their menu
Mhm.
plan each week. And then it comes up with an itemized shopping list. So it's like such a cool feature that we've had for a while, that I'm like, oh, I just get so excited to make a menu plan for someone. And they're so simple, the recipes. Everyone's like, even my husband loves them, you know, or my kids love them.
I think that's a big piece of the puzzle, is when you're trying to do it by yourself and it's like an odd diet and you're kind of in it, versus like these are very people friendly, human friendly.
Yeah.
Like,
With 3 kids.
yeah.
You
And
know,
we
I'm like,
should
I
be
have to.
teaching our kids how to eat this way.
Amen.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
As I made chocolate chip pancakes for my kids this morning.
Well, you got to do that
Bad
too.
mom.
No, it's parenting is exhausting, and you know, you have to pick your fights, and all in all, I give in a fair amount to that kind of stuff. I don't want them, because I have one going off to college soon, and then like, I just don't want them leaving not knowing how to cook, and to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna eat all of this that I was never allowed to eat at home.
Right.
You know, I just want it to be realistic, where I always think of like 80-20 rule, like 80% of our household and 80% of the meals that I make are clean eating. And yeah, we're going to have things in there that aren't the best, but I want them to get used to 80% of the time, you are on track.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest pattern, is when people are so, I can never eat that. It's like that is when you cave and
that's a diet.
Binge or have cravings. Yeah, just like in moderation, right? You can have a part of a donut, not a dozen donuts.
Yeah.
And then I think the when, you know, like people just understanding, like, I can have that, but I'm gonna do my balance first, and then.
Yeah, and the cool part is when I help our clients heal their metabolism, they're less inflamed. Okay, so they naturally like have less inflammation in their body. They feel so much better, and they're just like, wow, like this joint pain in my shoulder or wherever is like gone. And then they will have like a meal where they're like, Betsy, I went out and I had pizza this weekend. I'm like, well, good for you. Like, I hope you enjoyed it. Like, how did you feel afterwards? And they're always like, oh my gosh, the pain in my elbow like came back. Like the most random place where they have like an isolated inflammation. They're like, that was the cause of it. Like what I was eating. Like I didn't realize how inflamed I felt, or I had such a gut reaction from it, where like my bowels were a mess afterwards. And so instead of it being that you can't have this, can't have that, it's like you want to do it more in moderation, and you want to be in tune with your body, and then you want to make the decision whether you really want to do that or not to yourself. So it's like you just feel so, like I said, you get addicted to this way of feeling good that you don't want to do that stuff so much.
Right. Do you have a strong opinion on supplements, or I know we didn't.
Not strong. Like when I worked for Dr. Schwartzbein, she had me put her patients on a ton of supplements and a lot of good stuff. And I know she healed a lot of people and helps, you know, thousands of people. So I don't think it's anything bad. It's not my style. My style is definitely going to be more of the big picture of how to be healing for the metabolism, what your daily lifestyle habits are. Can you be consistent with them? You know, and really be in tune with your body. And then like part of our 3-month coaching program is that I do recommend, do personalized supplement recommendations for our clients. And so it's fun to recommend a few key things that are going to be quality pharmaceutical grade.
More additive.
But definitely simple, you know, like maybe 3-4 simple ones, maybe like a probiotic, because I can tell their gut needs some loving, you know, and some healing. And I just love probiotics, you know, a really good multivitamin that like even my multi, like I feel the difference when I take it, you know, it's more of a soft gel. It absorbs so beautifully. and there's other key ones that might be really important for other people. So many people are low in vitamin D. So I have people get their D level checked, or we monitor that. So there's definitely key ones that are super important for, and depending on what their issues are.
But most should be, if you're eating well, the majority of things should be provided.
Yeah, I don't think someone needs $500 worth of supplements each month, 10 to 20 different things.
Yeah.
No.
I love that.
Yes.
Anything else you want to talk about? We covered a lot of this. I mean, I did want your top 5 takeaways, but I think you covered a lot of it in the context.
Yeah. And I wrote a note for myself with some ideas there, and I narrowed it down to 3.
Ooh, 3 is even simpler.
Okay. So 3. Number 1 is to be organized.
Okay.
You can't be successful in anything unless you are organized.
So intentional.
So if you are a mess with your menu planning and you're I don't know how to get, you got to be organized with that. You got to be organized with your daily routines, make time for yourself, whether that's more of a meditation practice or, I just walked my dog at the beach this morning and just took 10 really cleansing breaths and was intentional. I was there with him, So it's the routines and the organization.
Setting yourself up for success.
Yeah. So I think that's huge. Another one's knowledge. If you really don't know how the metabolism works, you don't know how you're
get tricked.
Fueling yourself.
And drink coffee all morning.
Yeah, you're is this helping me? Is this hurting me? Am I damaging my metabolism? If you don't know any of it, then how are you really going to
change
succeed
it
and to heal the metabolism? Yeah. And then the last part is mindset. It's just, if anything in life, if you are worrying about it constantly, you're living in the past, or you're just scared for the future, or you're always trying to get it right, and get it perfect, and you don't have that calm feeling in your body, and you're just feeling anxious. So many people suffer from anxiety and depression. If you're struggling, mentally, you're always talking bad to yourself, you're not going to succeed. It's going to be a struggle your whole life.
Absolutely.
So it's there's definitely therapy and stuff like that, but which I love, and I think is definitely correct for some people. But I do help all of our clients all the time with changing their thought patterns and kind of going through a clear process to set them up for success, so they can be I can do this, one step at a time. Keep it simple.
I think that's my biggest takeaway is once you understand, it is simple and it's really health. I mean, this is really having a great life, a great feeling, a great lifestyle. The benefit is the weight loss. The benefit is you're going to live longer, move better, be healthier. This does translate to anti-aging because when that stress is high and when your metabolism is broken, it shows up.
It does.
Shows up on the outside, and you do age faster. I mean, that's something we come and ask about is stress and things. But I think I'm going to start circling it back to a little bit more to nutrition and healing the metabolism.
I think those 3 things go hand in hand with each other, perfectly.
Yeah.
Fueling the body properly, your nutrition, your lifestyle habits, healing the metabolism, and anti-aging yourself.
Yes.
Perfect.
If you want to talk with Betsy more, her website is sunshinewellnessinstitute.com. Do you want to throw in a phone number? If they have pen and paper, is there a phone number? Just go to the website.
We changed our number recently.
Okay, so the website's there. All the information's there.
I'm afraid I'm going to get it wrong.
It's always complimentary consults because Betsy wants to make sure her and her team, and I didn't mean to not mention that your business partner does a lot of the fitness wellness component.
Oh, absolutely. No, we are a team of women who are just enthusiastic with living this life. Yeah. And Stacy is an exercise expert, and so our plan is very foolproof with the nutrition, the exercise, the stress management, as health coaches as well. So if you do schedule a free consultation, it is with myself or Stacy, and so we are just know the program inside and out. And we just want to know where you are in your life and give you some real strategies to be healing for your metabolism. And if you're a beautiful fit for our program and want to learn more, then we dive in.
Yay. So sunshinewellnessinstitute.com to learn more. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this half as much as I did.
By the way, I just love you, Dr. Novo. You are amazing for living this balanced life yourself, or trying to. We all are just trying to.
We're doing our best.
But you're having so much fun with it, I can tell. And you're doing a great job.
Thank you. See you next time. Again, you can visit us at foryourbestself.com. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.